Good morning, Yankees universe. KOD Nation, a stand up, and all you Degens, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to a very special and awesome episode of the Yankees Morning Brew. This Friday, October 7th, it is 11:01 a.m. I am here with my guys, Tats from PineStripe Chronicles, Jason from 161 River Ave will be joining us momentarily. Jiggerman Porto as well will be joining the conversation. So I'm going to bring them in momentarily. I think Jason is setting up in the background, technical difficulties, so he's going to take a minute or two to join us. So I'm going to bring in my man Tats real quick just to start off the show. Tats, what it do, brother? Good morning.
Good morning. Salute, everybody. How's everything
sir.
going? Happy Friday. Happy playoff season. It's here. It's finally here. I'm psyched.
Copy. All right, and now I got my guy Jason because he's backstage, ready to go. Jason, what it do? Salute, brother.
Gentlemen, cheers. Top of the morning to both of you and everybody watching. What is happening, crew? Happy Friday.
Yes, sir.
Can't do a morning brew without a fresh cup of coffee.
That's right.
I skipped the coffee this morning. I had a bowl of Count chocolate instead. So don't come at me for not having my coffee ready to go. But it's
your stuff. It's your
show. They had Captain Crunch cereal. I mean, they had Count chocolate. I couldn't say no for Halloween, right, Jason?
It's kind of hard to beat Count chocolate, dude. I mean, it's really hard to do. So.
That's right. But fellas, before we take a dive into the postseason, right? I just want to go around real quick, get your thoughts on the reflection of this season. Obviously the great season that Aaron Judge had. Tats, I'm going to start off with you. Just give us your thoughts on the season, ups and downs, thoughts on Aaron Judge, and then pass it over to Jason.
I think a great way to start it off is unexpected. I think is a really good word to use for the Yankee season. We had the first half where it seemed like there was just nothing that could touch us. We were unstoppable. We were a freight train just mowing through everybody. Then we had the summer. The train went off the rails. And if it wasn't for the season that Aaron Judge had, we wouldn't be where we are. So I would say it's just unexpected.
Yeah, 100%. Jason, same thing, same question your way, brother.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, the first half of the season, I think the word was health, right? They all stayed healthy. They played together. They fed off each other. The second half was a couple of words, adversity and character. They faced the adversity, and they showed character by fighting back and getting back to where they were. Now, health is still an issue, obviously, but they showed that they can still do this without being 100%. And to me, that's an important thing. Just like Rocky Balboa syndrome. They kept getting up after they kept getting knocked down, getting up and getting up and getting up. And it's also – I want to bring up Gerrit Cole because it's character there too. It's a microcosm of a lot of good performances marred by one bad pitch on occasion. Giving up here, you could throw 7 shutout innings, but then the 8th inning he gives up a 3-run home run. And what's crazy is, I talk about this a lot on my channel. By MLB standards, 6 innings and 3 runs is considered a quality start, right? 6 innings and 3 runs. But if they're on the losing side, a lot of folks don't consider that a quality start. When they're on the winning side, they do. So it's interesting, and particularly as it pertains to Gerrit Cole. And he seems to be the poster board for a lot of this stuff. But he, to me, showed resiliency and character. He kept fighting back. So it's really, really hard to put him back. And again, he keeps taking the beating by the fans, but he keeps coming back. So to me, that's a testament of character as well. So, and the Yankees showed that they can do this together when they're healthy.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty confident. I feel pretty good about them.
Yeah, and you hit it on the head because I wanted to start off the conversation with Gerrit Cole, and I'm not sure if you guys saw the interview yesterday with Aaron Boone, but Aaron Boone was on the Michael Kay show, and he got a little antsy. He got a little in his feelings when they asked him about the rotation, and he came out of his face. He said, "Listen, you guys ask the same question 100 times over and over and over again. You ain't gonna get no different answer." So I'm. How can I say? I can't say I'm proud of Boone, but it's like to see Boone stick to his guns and not waver, especially when he's asked the same question over and over and over again. You got to tip your hat off to him, right? Holding his composure, not going off on Michael Kay and Don and those guys over there. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the postseason rotation lines up. Hold on, I just want to show this real quick because I got it down here. Because when we look at the layout of the land when it comes to the postseason, right, we got the wild cards that starting first. Not sure if this froze on me. But yeah, we got the wild card starting first, and then we got the ALDS and the ALCS, right? That's where we have to shape things up and how we have to try to line things up. I'm not sure if you guys are frozen on your end. Oh,
I'm
man.
good.
I'm good. I see it.
Yep.
Oh, I got to refresh my page. Not sure
There's a couple of empty ones.
what's going on, but
the
my page is frozen. My fault, guys. Just bear with me for a second. But
it's all good.
What's up, fellas? Jigga, what's up, my man?
Not much. Oh, what happened? Hector leave?
But
It's all right.
Unbelievable.
What up, Taz? What up, Jason?
That's good, man.
sorry about that. Technical difficulty. My apologize, fellas.
It's all right. It's like the bat signal went off. I came in the minute you were gone, bro.
I think that's what it is. I you came in right when I put it on the screen and it just kicked me out. That's exactly what it was. But Jigga Man Porter was in the building.
What up, bro? Yo. All right, so where we at? We talking Yankees. We're talking where we at in the combo.
Well, right now, you see, Tats and both Jason that gave us our reflection on the season, looking back on it, how it was. So, Jigga Man, same question going your way, bro. What's your reflection and thoughts on the season, especially with the season that Aaron Judge had?
It was like watching the Avengers, right? Like we had that beginning of the season where we literally had a pitching rotation that was being compared to the Avengers. Like we were in New York City, we were kicking out all them monsters, we were beating the shit out of people, and then like Thanos came through in the summer, right? And he like snapped his finger, half of our team disappeared, bro, right? And then all of a sudden we started coming back, right? The little fog moment, everybody started getting healthy again. But let's be real, the historical season Judge had. I don't know if we touched on Cole. I mean, breaking a record is breaking a record, right? With his strikeouts. Granted, he gives us his lovely hiccup. You're going to get that long ball. But to me, it all starts right now, right? Let's enjoy the fact that we got a first round bye this year, and then let's just turn it on. And I think we're finding that groove again. Injury is obviously a little bit of a problem, but I think obviously we'll touch on that more when we're going into what we think will be our lineup and stuff. But man, how could you not be excited about the season we had, especially when to me it was unexpected?
Yeah, because at the beginning of the season, all the prognosticators, all like the bookies, everybody from Vegas, everybody had the Yankees finishing third or fourth in our division, right? We shut that down real quick, right? After the first month of the season, we got the division lead and we ain't looked back, right? There was a little scare in September when Tampa Bay shrunk it to like 3.5 games at one point, 3 games. But after that, it was like the Yankees put pedal to the metal and went right for the end of the season. And I'm gonna throw it over to Tats real quick because I'm going to try to bring it up before. But when you look at how the postseason's lining up, right? We got a ALDS. You got the first game, you have a day off. Then you got the second game, and then you have a day off. Tats, if you were Aaron Boone, how would you line up the pitching rotation? And then throw it over to Jason.
As much as Cole is paid to be the ace, I'm sorry, I would have to go Cortez game 1. I want to start off the season on a high, and he's the guy that win, lose, or draw. I have the most faith in him to give us the most solid outing of our rotation. That's just the truth of it. It is no disrespect to Cole. He's a phenomenal pitcher. He's one of the top 5 in the league. But this season, Cortez is ahead of him. So I would go Cortez game 1.
Okay. Jason, same question headed your way, brother.
So I'm looking at it similarly but differently as well. I want to throw the lineup off as much as I can because whether it's the Guardians, or the Rays, I want to have a power righty, then a crafty lefty, then a power righty instead of a lefty and 2 righties in a row or 2 righties in a row and a lefty. I want to throw them off as much as I can. So whether it's Cole or Severino in game 1, and Severino, the stadium is lit when Severino is on the mound in the playoffs. The place is crazy, okay? So whether it's him or Cole, and I think Cole's mature enough to know whether he's throwing game 1 or 2, it doesn't really matter, or 3, doesn't really matter. He just wants to help the team win. Cortez, he can pitch 1. And there's an argument to be made for all 3 of these guys, right, to pitch game 1. But at the same time, Cortez has done a great job of following up either a win or a loss with a win. So that's why he's my guy for game 2, because if they let's just say Cole pitches really well, 7 innings and 1 run, but they lose 1-0. I'm confident that Cortez can tie the series. But if Cole wins, I'm confident he can put them up 2-0. So at least in the first series, is my number one, my number two guy. And I want him facing the opposing team twice. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Righty, lefty, righty, just to throw them off rhythm a little bit. And I think it would benefit the Yankees. But again, like I said, there's an argument to be made for all these guys. Like Chronicle said too, Cortez, you really can't go wrong with him pitching game one either. You can't.
No, you got a good formula going.
Yeah, because I love both those answers, right? Tats, of course, Nestor Cortez having the best season that a Yankee pitcher has had since Whitey Ford when it comes to ERA, right? That's literally what Nestor Cortez has done this season. To be in those type of conversation with those type of names, right there should give you some points when it comes to who's going to start, game one. But to Jason's point, when you look at it analytically, when you look at it like setting up the rotation, a power pitcher, then a lefty to throw them off their game, and another power pitcher. You can't go wrong with that either, right? But I really love the answer. If you guys heard it the other day from Garrett Cole, right? And I'll throw it over to Jigger right after this. But Garrett Cole said, when asked that question himself, he said, listen, the Yankees brought me here to win games. They didn't bring me here to pitch game one, pitch game two, pitch game three. However the team could win, I want to be in the best position and the best situation to win. So that right there goes to show me the maturity that Garrett Cole has as the ace of this staff. Go ahead, Jigga.
Yeah, it's funny because, I mean, I love when we have these roundtables because everybody has such different opinions, right? So, like for me, when I write it down, I'm going Sevy, Nestor, and Cole, right? And for me, I agree with Jason. The stadium goes crazy when Sevy's in there, right? And Sevy brings a fire in the postseason that we know is just legit, right? So I think if we get that hot start from him, bring me some of that twisted pretzel nasty Nestor in game two, and then we're in that position where Cole can relax. He can give us those 13 Ks in that third game, and either we're 1-1 at that point or we're 2-0, right? There's no way we're 0-2 at that point. And I think it gives Cole that confidence where he can give up that dinger that we expect in the 6th or 7th inning and still walk away with a win, even if it is a 2-1 kind of win. But, yeah, I'm going Sevy, Nestor, and Cole, bro.
Yeah, especially when you take a deep dive into the numbers, when you look at Nestor Cortez and Garrett Cole, Nestor Cortez at Yankee Stadium is pitching to an ERA that's under 2 at Yankee Stadium, right? Garrett Cole's ERA on the road is a bit inflated than it is at Yankee Stadium, so I'm not sure if they want to have him in game one just to get that comfortability factor out the way so he could be comfortable, not worry about if the team is down a game, the pressure coming to him, or having to make a start on the road. So maybe this is lining Garrett up so both his starts in the ALD and the ALDS are both at Yankee Stadium instead of one being at Yankee Stadium and the other one being on the road. That's something that we can't tell. But also from the injury front, and I'll throw it over the Tats right now, we may be getting some guys back when it comes to Andrew Benintendi and Matt Carpenter, specifically Matt Carpenter first. Tat, I'm going to throw it over to you. If we do have Matt Carpenter and Benintendi available for the first or second round, how are you going to utilize them? What's your game plan for them?
If Carpenter's ready, I said this in the show, in my show yesterday with Rob and Donald. If Carpenter's ready to go for the LDS, then and I put it in capital letters for you yesterday. No Hicks. Yeah. Anything you can do to keep Hicks off the roster, I'm all for it. I don't care if it's if it's the bat boy.
For real, go get us the pretzel guy, right? I don't care.
I think having Carpenter off the bench for a late inning at bat, I think if there's anybody on that they can utilize that can handle that situation, it is a veteran like Matt Carpenter.
Same question headed your way, Jason. How would you utilize those bullets you got on the bench? How would you use them?
Well, that's a good point. You guys make good points. Carpenter, and then Boone said today, or last night actually, that he's planning on having him on the LDS roster.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Benintendi probably for the LCS roster if he gets that far. Both of these guys, I would personally have them on the bench because there's not enough time for these guys to ramp up as starters, in my opinion. So, and I'm not replacing Oswaldo Cabrera with Benintendi. Sorry, but I'm not doing it. So I'm keeping Cabrera in the lineup. But Benintendi over Hicks, yes. Benintendi over LeCastro, yes. Benintendi over Hicks it's common sense, right? There's no LeCastro over Hicks, but Benintendi over LeCastro, he has a better bat. They both have elite speed and good defenders. But if I'm doing it, They're coming off the bench. I need Peraza on the bench because whether he's a starter or comes off the bench, he's good. So Peraza's on my roster no matter what. Okay. And then obviously you have the backup catcher. But Carpenter, he also has the same skill set as DJ, and DJ's not right yet. So if they have to sit DJ, Carpenter can play first, he can play third. So, and it leaves the question is what happens with Marwin Gonzalez at that point? Look, he's the other guy, and he has the same skill set, but he also plays the outfield. So this is where the roster construction becomes a little more specific. And again, I think it's going to be a little different whether they play the Guardians as opposed to whether they play the Rays. The roster is going to look a little different no matter what because there's going to be different type of weaponry. I like Castro's ability to steal bases, but Peraza does that. Peraza has a better bat too. So I'm keeping the guys with a better bat. And they also give a different dimension from the left-handed side. So Carpenter, Benintendi, I'm having on the bench all day. So that's the way I look at it. I would put them.
Love that. I want to take a shout out to Talking Jake because Talking Jake, he spoke about this yesterday, and I want to give credit where credit's due. But I liked how he analyzed it, right? Because when you have so many different players that you could choose from, the big factors are going to be Cabrera, Peraza, and Marwin Gonzalez because they could play practically every position. Peraza, we haven't seen him in the outfield, but Cabrera and Marwin could play all over the diamond. So if a situation comes up, if it's the 5th inning or the 6th inning, and you have the bases loaded, and you have IKF up to bat, or if you have Kyle Higashioka or Severino up to bat, you could easily call upon Matt Carpenter right then and there to be the pinch hitter in the 5th inning, right after he's out of the game. However you figure out whether it's IKF who comes up at that position and you send Matt Carpenter to hit for him, you could sub Matt Carpenter for Peraza, and you're not losing that much of a beat when it comes to, the shortstop position. And likewise for the catching position, right? As great as Jose Trevino has been this season, he's been, not the best of recent, especially from the plate, But if you have a situation where he's coming up, if you got runners on the corner with nobody out, you could call on DJ LeMahieu to be the pinch hitter and then substitute him with Kyle Higashioka, kind of like how Aaron Boone has been doing it this entire season. But go ahead, So what's your thoughts on that, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I want to do my homework last night, right? Because I know the level that the three of you bring to Yankees commentary, right? So here's what I think the roster looks like, all right? Looking at the season, looking at what Boone has done. Catchers, I think we're bringing both of them in, right? You have no choice. You're bringing Higgy, you're bringing Trevino in. I think Rizzo, Glaber, IKF, Josh Donaldson, DJ LeMahieu, even though we're a little worried that he's not 100%, it's still DJ, and we hope we see the machine come off in the playoffs, right? And I think you still want to have DJ in there so you have that infield, right? And not have to worry about carrying Hicks over, okay? Got to have Oswaldo in there. Like, no question. Like, if we don't, we all should, literally just, boycott. And by boycott, I mean, don't watch, the first 4 minutes of the game because after that, going with Judge, Harrison Bader, Cabrera, and Tim LaCastro. I think Tim makes that roster. I don't think Benintendi's worth risking bringing back for this first round. And then you got Matty on the bench. You got Giancarlo DHing as well. I think that's the best lineup for us to bring in with us. No question.
Yeah, definitely. Go your way, brother.
I actually have Gonzalez over LaCastro for the LDS, mainly because I want the defensive strength. Gonzalez, you could put in the outfield, you could put at first base, you could, he's got more defensive flexibility than LaCastro does. And I actually have Peraza as my starting shortstop with IKF on the bench. And IKF on the bench mainly because he's as much as he's not a power hitter, he doesn't strike out a lot. He'll put the bat on the ball. And the one thing that has hamstrung this team for years has been getting that key hit with runners on base. Yep. If you have a weapon like IKF on the bench, I think that's going to be beneficial to the Yankees moving forward.
Good point. Go ahead, Jason.
That's a good point. The only player that was better than IKF with runners in scoring position this year on the Yankees was Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
He was second.
But the reason, Tats, that I went with LaCastro is I'm looking at that pinch running. That dude's got some wheels, right? And when I look at the other pieces, yeah, I agree with the Marwin play, right? We can use him anywhere.
Yeah.
But I think looking at speed-wise, who else really, if LeCastro is available, who's running at that speed that we really can have that pinch runner in a situation?
Yeah, and to your point too, Jigga, and I would definitely want him on the ALCS roster because if we're playing Houston, every one of the pitchers throws hard, so we're going to need people that are fast on the bases. Period.
Yeah.
We need to get guys who can steal bases, right? And that's going to be another weapon. I mean, and you got Verlander throws 100 in a regular, and then you got the other kid, who was it, Framber Valdez, throws 100. So like, there's no really crafty guys on Houston. They're all bullet throwers. So. And we need to be able to capitalize wherever we can. So he's definitely a valuable weapon, as is Marwin as well. But there's an argument for both of them. It really is.
Yeah, I think it's going to come.
My bad.
My fault. I was just going to say real quick. I'll throw it over to you. So I think it's going to come down to Marwin and to Peraza. I think those two. Because like you said, Jigga, I totally agree with you when it comes to LeCastro. A big part of this team when we was doing real good at the first 2.5 months of the season was John Carlos getting on base in the 8th inning and Tim LeCastro still in second and still in third. Like that was the formula that we used every time we came back down by 1 or 2 runs. That was the formula. Either Stanton's getting a hit or he's drawing that walk and LeCastro's coming in and he's coming around to score. So that was the formula at the beginning of the season. But at the same time, when it comes to Marwin, that defense he adds to it, and being a switch hitter and how he could just mess up, the opposing managers, the way he puts his strategy out there. It's a good problem to have. Go ahead, So.
No, I was just going to ask a different question to you guys, which
ahead,
I really think it's an unrealistic question. But do we see any world, and I'm not an IKF hater, but do we see any world where IKF is not on that roster?
Nope.
No.
Nah. No.
Follow-up question.
No, they buddy to him too much.
If that happens, that's Brian Cashman on October 10th saying that my decision was wrong to trade for IKF, and he doesn't want to look like he's wrong at this point of the season. Maybe in the offseason when we trade IKF or however we figure it out. But
you make an interesting point because every time I turn the TV on, who's on base? IKF.
Yeah.
All the freaking time he's on base.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you get rid of that?
Yeah.
And he's one of the fastest guys on the team, one of the best base runners on the team. So there's no way in the world I'm not putting that guy.
Yeah, but besides, Peraza, and that's one thing when the rookies came up, Cabrera and Peraza, when they came up, right? They were the only person that was busting it down the line was IKF. Every time he puts the ball in play, he's busted down the line. That's why seeing Cabrera and Peraza come up, literally doing the same exact thing. It's just a breath of fresh air. I love seeing that, because you're getting paid so much money to play a child's game when it comes to Major League Baseball. You could bust it down the line, right? You could bust it down the line. If you hurt your big toe, it's a part of the game.
Very true.
Yeah. But let's look at this real quick. All right. So this is a question I wanted to ask you guys, right? I know the Yankees are, big Yankee fans or whatever, but let's look to the National League real quick because the National League, this is going to be very interesting, right? And I want your take on it because when you look at the wild cards, right, you got San Diego and the Mets, then you got St. Louis and Philly. But when it comes to San Diego and the Mets, the winner of that is going to face the LA Dodgers. This is what I want to ask you guys. Do you think when we get into the playoffs, after the first round of the wild card, I think it's a reseed, right? Because if you're the Dodgers, right, and you got the best record in baseball, and for the first round, you got to face possibly the Mets that have 100 wins as well. That doesn't seem pretty fair if you're the top seed in the National League. What's your thoughts on that real quick? And then we'll throw it around. I'll start off with you, So.
I mean, if the Mets, I want the Mets to get through that first round. I think it'd be exciting to watch the Mets if they're, turn it around. They've been a little bit of a shit show as of late. But I do think the Mets and Dodgers game could be a good series. But it then puts that question, like, are the Mets even on that level, right? Dodgers are sick. Let's just be real. Like, the season they had, they're just ridiculous. So it's like either one they're up against, the Dodgers are the clear favorite. I just think the better series would probably be the Mets. And you know me, anything New York is going to make me happy for the city, bro. So,
yeah, Tats, same question going your way. You think they should reseed after the first round of the wild card? What's your thoughts on that?
No, I think the way that they have it now, I don't think they should be messing with it too much. I like that they got away from the one game. Baseball is not a one game sport. It's a sport made of that's followed through with series after series. So having a 3-game series, I think is great. They even did it even better by having just one home team. But I think that the Mets and the Dodgers, I think that's going to be one of the highlights of the postseason matchups.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jason. Same question your way. Do you think they should reseed? What's your thoughts on that, real quick?
I'd probably keep the format as is as well. But I mean, like we're saying here, I mean, the Mets, whether the Mets play the Dodgers in the division round or whether they play them in the championship round, it's going to be a hell of a series. Whether it's the Braves playing them, it's going to be a hell of a series. So either way, I think it's going to be pretty good. I would still kind of keep the format as is, like a 3-game, then a 5-game, then a 7-game.
Yeah,
because they're already playing 162 games. They're playing a lot of games, so I want to try to keep guys healthy as possible. And I think right now, the way it lines up, the Mets have home field advantage for this one. They play really well at home, so I think they're gonna take care of San Diego and be a little bit probably in 2 games or if 3 at most. But I think that if they play the Dodgers, it's gonna go 5. I think it's gonna go 5. I don't really see it going 3. Anybody being swept. So and if they do that, and then let's just say they play the Braves in the NLCS, that'll go 6 or 7, I think. So I think it lines up perfectly. But I see your argument too. I mean, there is an argument to be made for kind of reshuffling the brackets, because at the end of the day, you want the best team to play each other in the best series, right?
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, it doesn't always happen. So look at like in March Madness, seed 32 plays seed 1. It's like you have Duke playing in Appalachian State, right?
Why? Because I'm on here. You had to go with a North Carolina team. He's like, oh, Jim is from North Carolina. Let's go with App State.
That's funny. That's funny. But no, I agree with the both of you, right? Because when you talk about it, you want the best teams to play each other, right? And I would love to see the Mets and the Dodgers in a 7-game series. But the NLCS, I want it to be in a 7-game series, not a 5-game series. But this is new waters that MLB is trending. They're trying to switch it up. They're trying to add a different dynamic part of the playoff structure and the playoff going forward. I like this though, but let's see what happens, because normally having too many days off in between series, it doesn't work out good for you. Normally in the past, we've seen it. My best memory of it going the opposite way is, you remember when the Rockies, they played the Boston Red Sox in 2007 in the World Series. The Rockies were the best team in the second half of baseball. They steamrolled through the NLDS and the NLCS, swept the NLCS, but they had to wait those 7 games for the Red Sox. And when the Red Sox faced the Rockies looked like they were off. So this is going to be new waters that MLB is trending in. So let's see what happens the first round with the Yankees, But going forward, I think this is a structure that they should use going forward. What are your thoughts, Sugar Man?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
A
short answer. Not used to that.
No, I think the structure they have it now, like I said, if everything works out the way that it should, it's going to every series in this postseason is going to be tight. There's nobody in there that you go, how did they make it? Like, every team earned their spot. So just write it out. I think it's going to be. I think this postseason is going to be one of the better ones we've seen in a decade.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead, Jason.
Oh, I would agree, and all with all due respect to the Dodgers, I think they're fantastic, but nobody worries me more than the Astros.
Yeah,
and they're in our league. We have to get through them to get to the Dodgers anyway. So that's my bigger worry. And the Astros are freaking loaded. So,
oh God, definitely.
And they're just our arch nemesis at this point, right?
Yes.
Like there's just something there. I'm telling you, Hector, we've had this conversation, bro. That entire flight, they all got like these little Yankee voodoo dolls right under the seat, bro. I'm telling you. They're like, 99, 99, like the whole time.
Listen. they know somebody that lives in Houston, that has connections to the Bronx, and they're able to get little NYC pigeons over to Houston so this thing can go on. But I want to address a comment in the chat. Shout out to Fritz Walter. Fritz, salute. He said Yankees issues for years. If Astros shut them out several times during playoffs, the Yankees were unable or at least struggle to make apple juice or whatever they got offered. Hold on, wait. That was in the chat. I was bringing it up. I'm sorry. Even as A-Rod once said, if opposing pitching gives you oranges, you got to be able to manufacture orange juice. Lemons, lemon juice. That's how you win in 2009. If they waste runners in scoring position for pop-ups, etc. Yeah, you have to be able to cash in, especially if a major league team gives you extra outs, right? If they give you 4 outs an inning, 5 outs an inning, you have to be able to cash that in, right? Tats brought it up perfectly. A big problem with the Yankees, especially in the postseason against Houston, it wasn't our pitching, right? We weren't getting blown out. Yes, Aroldis Chapman giving up the walk-off to Altuve, yes. But when it came to our starting pitching, we weren't getting blown out 5-0, 6-0 in games. Our issue has been timely hits and timely situations with runners in scoring position, just like Fritz said. But I think this Yankee team is way more balanced than the previous Yankee teams before. Previous Yankee teams, you had Edwin Encarnacion, swing a miss, I'm going to get a home run or I'm not. You had Todd Frazier, the same thing. You had so many of the same type of hitters in that lineup, but now it's balanced, it's spread out more. Gleyber Torres in September in the second half looks a lot better than he did in the first half of the season. But Jiggerman, what's your thoughts on the Yankees' struggles previously to what's going to happen now?
All right. So since we're addressing Fritz Walter, what up, Fritzy? How you doing? All right. First things first. He made one comment earlier that said that this team just trusts the long ball. I don't. Am I wrong in saying that it wasn't us this season? We were not relying on being the Bronx Bombers. So that's the one part of your statement I disagree with, Fritz. Right? This year we did put ourselves in positions by playing regular baseball. It wasn't just relying. And of course, I mean, you can say that, and then you're like, oh, but Judge, 16, okay, yeah, he was cracking them, but we weren't just relying on the long ball this year. As far as the runners in scoring position, I feel like you can't really talk on it right now. I mean, how many double plays were pulled on us the other day? Like 7?
7.
Oh, God, yeah.
Right? That's just doo-doo, no matter if it's a Yankees or whatever team you are. My kid's high school team, okay? Like, what are you doing? Like, if we're playing ball like that, then it doesn't matter what stage of the season it is. That's garbage, right? Yeah. We cannot have that. And again, I think it comes back to looking at guys like DJ, right? If DJ starts getting back in his flow, I mean, that was our RBI machine, right? I would love to see DJ back in there being the machine. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to rely on the long ball. I think we touched on the pitching. I don't think it's game over, bro. I think we're a team that has proven it's not just the long ball this season. And we're going to rock with it, Fritzy. Have faith, Fritzy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to Clay in the chat. Clay just said we just launched our KOD Tournament of Champion contest for Knights holders. Go check out who your randomly assigned team is. Hey, Jiggerman, before we continue, right, because we got the virtual baseball that we're going to be doing on the channel. If you just want to just let people know about it, because your beautiful mind works in mysterious ways. So just let the people know about the virtual baseball that will be coming to the channel in a little bit of future.
All right, sure. Hey, just go ahead. Show this plug. And yo. All right. First things first. The thing Clay's talking about, what's great is you automatically randomly get assigned, right? And if your person wins, you get a special NFT, which is like a chalice and a goblet with the artwork. Such a cool thing. And I mean, every tournament that the Knights does is amazing. As far as the Sim League, bro. So Friday nights, starting at 6:30 p.m., it's going to be the end of this month. You're able to tune into our channel. We have our own Knights of Degen team in a league with 8 other teams that are owned by other people. But you get to help us call the game. So on the screen will pop up and say, do you want to swing, take a pitch, take a ball? And all of us collectively get to pick a number and choose what we want to do. So we get to call every play on batting and pitching. And the goal is to win a championship at the end of the year, win a nice little prize. You know, I believe there's a little trophy that's going to be shipped around and all kinds of good stuff. But that's going to be dope. We got Hector calling the game. You've got guests coming on. We got our boy Liquid. We got Zook, even though he's a Mets fan, we'll allow him to be on it. But yeah, stay tuned for that. That's going to be so dope. And back to Fritzy in the chat. What did he say? Of course they improved. Okay.
Of course they improve. I said the quote, my brother's looking dangerous in that direction. But yeah, we got you. We got you, Fritz. We love you, baby. We got you. We got you. But yeah, sorry, Jigga Man, to just put you on the spot like that. But yeah.
It's all right. I'm a professional, sir.
But let's Joe Jigga Man's the clown. Let's look at the postseason, right? I want to get our thoughts on it because we haven't talked about it when it comes to the Mets and how they blew that division lead. Tats, I'm gonna start with you because my petty meter is through the roof. My cup of petty is just keep pouring me the petty. I'm just being petty as I can. Go ahead, Tats. What's your thoughts on it, real quick?
First on the Mets, shout out to your mom. You know, to be in such a diehard.
She finally answered my phone call yesterday.
Oh, she did? All right.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Hey, moms can't stay away for too long. But no.
But didn't she tell you off though when she answered?
She did, but she still answered my phone call. That's all that matters.
It's there's a lot of Met fans that are not, if I can say the word, they're not assholes. They're really just, that's just a team they root for. There are some that are. But for the good Met fans, I want to see them put up a good run. I think that's the way I'll put it as a Yankee fan. Just put up a good run. You're not going to get all the way because we're standing in front of you.
Facts.
So it's I'd rather see. I think that the ALCS will be the Mets and the Braves in a rematch. But I just don't see the Mets being. I think that offense is going to hurt them. They're too reliant on their power bats with Alonso and Lindor. It's going to really come down to Nimmo and McNeil are going to be the guys that pick up their power bats to make sure they put up crooked numbers in an inning. And if those four guys can't come through, I don't see them making it past the Dodgers.
Mm. Yeah. Jason, same question going your way, brother.
The 7 train is not the 4 train, baby. Okay.
Nope.
All right. Didn't Starling Marte fracture his finger the other day? So that's gonna
they're waiting. They're waiting to get reports back from him.
That's a big hit too, right there. And again, I think I see them going a while. But as it pertains to, and you've seen me on my live streams, like we'll have like 500 people on there. The Yankees collapsed. They shit the bed. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, why is it okay to say that about the Yankees but not the Mets?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, we handle our business. We won our division.
Yeah, exactly. We won our division, and that's not hating on the Mets. That's defending our Yankees. So
exactly.
People have a hard time answering. That's they butt hurt, right? So
it
is what it is.
Stupid.
But do I see them? They're going to make noise in the postseason. Their team is too good to not. I mean, I would be shocked, floored if the Padres beat them. Like Padres with Tatis, maybe a little different, but they don't have Tatis, right?
Yeah. And
Soto's a beast, and the rest of them, he's actually playing better now after not playing well. And so is Hector, but that's not enough either. Not against the Mets. So, and when you have Scherzer, you got DeGrom, you got even Bassett and freaking Taijuan Walker, they have enough depth to get past the Padres. Okay, and the Padres are deeper in the rotation, but the Mets' high-end depth is higher. Right, you have 2 monsters up at the top, so they have an advantage in a lot of different ways. And again, playing the first 2 games in Queens is going to be like hell for the Padres. So, and I kind of agree with you. I think they have a good chance of getting past the Dodgers. Sometimes the Dodgers, even with a team like this, they could win 116 games, but like the Mariners that year, they don't make it past the first, second round, and like team, it just happens. But would I be surprised if the Dodgers made it? No, not at all. But at the end of the day, I think the World Series round is going to be the ALCS, Yankees versus the Astros. That's going to be, I think, the most bludgeonous round of baseball, and they're going to bludgeon each other. And whoever's the last team standing, if they're playing each other, will be hopefully the one standing in the World Series. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets took it. But again, if we're going through New York, the World Series is running on a 4 train, baby. You got to go through the bars. And the Mets do not have bragging rights. This is not a Mets town until they win a World Series. Period.
That's it. You should end the show right there. Bam!
Point blank. And then you can end it with the hold on, wait. You remember that rap song they had in '86?
Oh my god. Oh, that's so sad.
The best thing out of when that happened in '86 besides the championship was that Kevin Mitchell rap song. But when you talk about the ALCS, right? The Astros, right? That's definitely the team that we have to go through to, release whatever demons we have to. That's what we have to do. That's the team we have to do it against the Houston Astros. Now, at the same time, if we have to face the Seattle Mariners, I won't be mad, right? I won't be that mad. I'll take that series over the Astros, but I think it's going to come down to the Yankees and Astros in the ALCS. But when it comes to our first round matchup in the ALDS, Jiggaman, who would you like to see? Like who would you feel comfortable facing against? Would you feel comfortable facing Tampa or the Cleveland Guardians?
Look, and I'm not saying it just because I love the Yankees and what we can do. I don't care who it is.
Yeah,
I don't. Right. Tampa always gives us good games and stuff. Right. I mean, it is what it is. But I'm not scared to be the one of them. I think, we'll do what we have to do with whoever we face. And then it comes down to, the Astros. Now, I have this weird feeling, and I hope I'm wrong. Okay. I hope it's the Astros. But why do I have this weird feeling like it's not going to be the Astros? Somehow the Mariners pull it off. They get over there. Right. And they're playing good. Right. They're a fun team to watch. I just feel like it's one of those things that as Yankees fans, we can't have the perfect scenario, right? Where it's like the story, Judge with 99, and the strikeouts, and they beat the Astros. No, it's going to be like, it's the year that we didn't get to play the Astros, and we take it all, right? And it's like, well, you guys didn't beat the Astros. It's like, screw you and your stupid imaginary asterisk mark. It wasn't our fault they didn't make it there. So I feel like it's going to be some weird thing like that, but I prefer to see the Astros.
Yeah, no, I would jiggle on that. You can't pick and choose who you go through. You just got to get through it. But I think a team that a lot of people talk about Seattle, but I would not discount the Blue Jays. Their pitching in their lineup is brutal. Mm-hmm. And so I could actually see if there's one team that could overpower the Astros and match up with them perfectly, would be the Blue Jays over Seattle.
That's a good point. Go ahead, Jason. What's your thoughts on that real quick?
I do think the Blue Jays offense has a bigger advantage over Seattle's pitching. That lineup is disgusting from top to bottom. I mean, even if you're Luis Castillo, and he's been hit a couple times recently, but you need more than Castillo. They can hit Ray pretty easily, and they're deep enough to have starters in the bullpen, the Blue Jays too. So Kikuchi and some of these other guys go long relief, and I personally think they're going to get past the Mariners. But I think this is going to be a revealing postseason for the Mariners. I think one way or another, the Mariners are going to be like, you know what? We got this far. We're one or two guys away. We're going to make two big splashes in free agency. This is going to be a roadblock, a stepping stone to free agency for the Mariners one way or another this year. But I can't see the Blue Jays getting past them, and then they can make a run too. Because like you said too, Chronicles, that lineup is relentless.
Yeah.
They're aggressive from beginning to end.
Yeah, 1 through 9. There's really not a big hole.
You can't sleep.
No,
you just can't be lazy at all. It's overshot and hitting everything everywhere. Flat, like when you least expect, you can go 0 for 60, and then you have our closer, and then it's a fucking 3-run bomb. It's like shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, right? I mean, we've got two teams on this side that are used to playing us throughout the year, right? Yeah. So it's a disadvantage for us as well. They know our game, they know our players, right? So would it be nicer to see either the Mariners, the Astros, or Guardians? Yeah, so we don't have to deal with guys that know how we play, right? Let's spin it up. But I don't know, man. I think our side this year compared to what's going over there on the NL, our side is way stronger going into this. I feel like there's a big drop off when you have the Dodgers and then the others. I don't feel like that's the same on our side.
Yeah, that's a good point, because when you look at the parity in the American League, right? If you take the Baltimore Orioles and you drop them in the NL Central, they're second in that division, right? They're literally fighting for the second or third wild card spot, right? The Orioles were. So when you look at the American League to National League, it's a bit of a drop off, right? But when you look at the American League, Seattle, like to Jason's point, Seattle scares me, right? Because if you take away the first month of the season, statistically, Seattle has the best bullpen in all of baseball. You take away that first month of the season, Seattle's bullpen is the top bullpen in all of baseball, right? So I'm scared for against Seattle because we already know what wins in postseason: starting pitching and bullpen. Seattle has a dominant 1-2 combination with Castillo and with Robbie Ray, right? Their offense is the question mark. If Julio Rodriguez uses this, postseason as his plateau to his further stardom that he already is going to be a star, watch out. That's who I'm scared of really taking over this postseason and really being a breakout star is Julio Rodriguez.
Good point.
And I think the other thing with Seattle is Seawald in their bullpen. The guy's a beast.
Mm-hmm.
He's having a very under the radar season that he's really locked down in that bullpen.
Mm-hmm. And then they have like two or three other guys. I throw it over to Jason that they throw over 100 miles per hour. It's look, Frank Mazza said it. They got Andres Munoz, who looks ridiculous coming out that bullpen. Go ahead, Jason.
Bullet throwers there and a young dynamic lineup. That's what I would look out for Seattle. Like Cleveland, I would look out for their right-handed pitching. I didn't think Tristan McKenzie was going to be this good. Okay, right up there with Bieber now. So, and the Yankees struggle against frontline right-handed pitchers more than they do lefties. So that's why I feel a little bit better about Tampa Bay. They can hit McClanahan. They've already hit him. But you got to go up against Bieber and Tristan McKenzie. It's going to give them problems. So that's why I think the hyper focus on each team is going to be a little bit different, which I think they need a little bit more lefty balance in their lineup. That's why if they play Cleveland, I would like to have Carpenter. I would like to have whoever from the lefty side that I can get to give them a little bit more because their righties struggle hitting righties. So, and then or if you go up against Tampa, that pesky lineup, man. And they're healthy again. So whether it be freaking Mondefranco, this one hitting just singles and doubles and blah, 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 our bullpen needs to be on point. So we got to have the right guys in the bullpen. And as it goes to Houston, we need every hands on deck for Houston. So, and it's just there's no easy game, no easy series.
You bring up Tristan McKenzie, and I remember the days back in 2020 when Tristan McKenzie and Devi Garcia faced off against each other as the next two rising star of the pitching rotation for their team, and Devi Garcia is nowhere to be found. But I want to throw this next question out there because a glaring issue for the Yankees right now is the bullpen, right? We can't beat around the bush, not having or not knowing who the closer is going forward. Jigga, I'm going to start off with you. What's your thoughts about our bullpen going into the postseason, and do you trust them?
I mean, we have no choice, right? We're here, right? So we can just, I'm busting out every prayer period every night. I mean, a lot of it, comes down to to think we're in a position where we're hoping we don't see Chappie on our roster, right? Like that's crazy, I mean, you want to sit there and hope, Wandy's feeling better. We need to get Wandy back. We need to be able to get Clay Holmes back, right? So much is relying on those two coming back. If not, we're going to see Chappie squeaking into that bullpen. And to me, that's like, it's us again going and ask the bat boy to play for us, right? I mean, at this point, hey, buddy, switch with Chappie. Chappie's going to go grab these, and you go in there and just throw this ball because the same freaking result is possible. So I'm hoping we get some good news on the Clay Holmes front as well, because we're going to have to do a lot of mixing and matching, man, out of that bullpen to get through. You're going to see a lot of those 1 inning, maybe 3-4 batter pitches from a guy and then take him out. I think Boone's going to be tested big time in the playoffs on how we're going to recover. Yeah.
Tat, same question headed your way, brother.
Yeah, like I said on our show when we were breaking down who would make the roster, Chapman is. I'm putting him in the same, boat as Hicks. Just send him out to sea and don't let him come back.
They're in the same Uber.
Yo, I love that Tats was nice enough to give him a boat. I said swim. Okay.
You know what? With Chapman, he's not here next year. So let him find his way to be somebody else's hitter.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it all comes down to Wandy. If Wandy's ready to go, I don't see Chapman making the roster.
Yep.
I think that's the key factor. Can Peralta make his way back and prove himself, come back and give the management enough confidence to go with him over Chapman.
Mhm.
Because I have a lot more confidence in Waldy than Chapman than anybody, just about anybody else in this bullpen right now. And I think the other thing that's really killing us, was in the beginning of the year we lost Green. In the middle of the year we lost King. Now we have question marks with Marinaccio, and it's like, all right, come on, like, please, it's just not Chapman. That's it. It's just not Chapman.
Just anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody but Chapman.
Jason,
we definitely don't. We definitely
way.
don't think Marinaccio comes back in time, right? I don't see it happening.
Not for the LDS.
Yeah.
Maybe further, depending on how he feels.
I mean, he has shin
Well,
splint,
he was
Yeah.
put. Yeah, it was a shin splint. He was put on the 10-day IL. He theoretically he could come back because the first game of the LDS is when the 10-day IL stint is over. So technically he can come back, but I'm not sure if he's going to be ready to come back. Because shin splints they're a bastard. I get a few of them and they hurt like crazy. But Jason, same question your way when it comes to the bullpen. Give us your thoughts.
So you guys make some good points, particularly about Wandy. To me, Wandy was the garbage guy. He cleaned up so many messes, right? When Clay Holmes got into trouble, whoever got in trouble, who'd they bring in? Wandy Peralta to clean the shit up, right? It just that was the way it was in so many situations. And the other guy that's kind of underappreciated is Lucas Licky. They're the two most reliable lefties on this team, with the exception of Chapman, who's not reliable. So those two guys have to be on the roster. Licky's reliable in low leverage situations, and Wandy in high leverage situations. And I personally think it's going to be between probably Lasagna and Efrost to the closer position. And I'm hoping that Marinaccio comes back as well. And I'm really glad that they brought in Trevino, because he essentially took over Wandy's role as the cleanup guy now. He's cleaning up messes for these guys too. So having bolted him and one from each side is a very valuable thing. Losing King sucked. That was a big blow, because then a lot of pressure got put on Clay Holmes and he wasn't ready for it yet. And I said this before, he went from a middling reliever in Pittsburgh to the closer of the Yankees. If you're ever going to take a monumental climb, that's the one to take.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like putting whatever, like BJ Armstrong in Michael Jordan's shoes. You can't do it. It's so hard to do. So that's why King was like a buffer for him. He was that protective coating for Clay to kind of let him ease into things. So I'm really glad that they brought in Trevino and Efrost. Cashman must have had this stuff. He must have had some kind of foresight why he brought in these relievers. And they're all going to be part of this postseason roster. Well as, and again, I'm hoping Peralta comes back, because he's kind of the key to a lot of this stuff. And we need two lefties. And I agree with you guys too. I don't think Chapman should be on this postseason roster. No. Just like Hicks. They should just, give me the television. I gotta watch it from home.
That's it, bro.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I'm gonna order pizza, and that's it.
Exactly. Just put them in a hospital room like they did in Major Leagues, and just have them watch the game from the hospital room.
Hector, I had a question for you when it comes to pitching.
Bro.
Did you have a little bit of hope that when Zach Britton came back, we'd actually see something from Zach Britton?
Oh, I definitely did. I definitely thought that Zach Britton was going to be like a September call-up that, took us to the postseason. But, his body just couldn't handle it. He couldn't come back in time. Coming back off of Tommy John, his second Tommy John on top of it. It's tough. I just wish Zach Britton the best. Hopefully in the future, he could tag on to another major league team and he can find himself. He may not be the old Zach Britton from 2011, 2012, but maybe he could be a new form of Zach Britton going forward for the rest of his career. But it didn't work out here in New York. His $15 million is coming off of the books next year. Let's use that money to throw towards Aaron Judge's way. Yeah. But yeah, I just wish Zach Britton the best, and I just wish it could have worked. It didn't work out. I just wish it could have worked out here.
Yeah, I mean, that was the one, when he was coming back, and I was like, okay, if we can get at least a decent, healthy-looking Zach Britton, we have no concerns about leaving Chappie off that roster, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and then I think with him re-injuring and everything, it was clear. It's like, okay, we're in a position, man. But I think – so I guess we're in agreements, right? Herman, Clark Schmidt, Trevino, Scott Efros, Lasagna, Holmes, Wandy Peralta, and Lucas, right? That really should be what we're bringing in this now.
Yeah, I would say, and I'll throw it over to chat to Tats after this. How I will have it, I want Jonathan Lasagna to be the closer. I want him at the end of the game because he has a power arm. Scott Efros, his stuff is so good when it comes to swing and miss stuff. That's the perfect guy to have in the 7th or 8th inning leading up to Jonathan Lasagna, because if you have somebody who throws light like Efros does, but he has movement, and then you bring in Lasagna right afterward who throws gas and has movement, it's just going to keep the hitters off balance. And this day and age in 2022 is not about how good your stuff is how good you can keep the other team off balance.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Tad.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be it's definitely going to be Efros and Loizaga for the 8 and 9. I think it's also going to factor in of where in the lineup they are at that stage of the game. If you're in the meat of the lineup, you go Loizaga.
Great point.
You know, if you're in, in the bottom of the, in the top of the in the 9th inning, you're going to have the 6, 7, 8, 9. Then you go Efros. So but I would feel a lot more confident with Loizaga facing the power bats in the 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead, Jason.
To your point too, I think the other thing that needs to be mentioned is these relievers will play great and the 2 long relievers, but we need the starters to give us length.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Period.
They can't
That's
run
important.
That way we're not beating up the bullpen. So we get
If we
length.
run into one of those 5-inning pulls, that changes the format for everything.
Everything we talked about is gone.
Yeah, out the window. Literally,
And we
everything is
wasted
just
an
tossed
hour
out
of
the
your
window.
time, chat. Thank you for watching.
But it's interesting because it's all going to start off of who's the game 1 starter, right? If the game 1 starter winds up being Garrett Cole, we're going to need Garrett Cole to go 7 or 8 strong innings, right? 1 run, 2 run baseball to set the tone, because Nestor Cortez, as great as he has been, the Yankees have been very hesitant on having him go past the 6th inning. So we want to save our good bullpen arms for game 2 for Nestor Cortez when he comes out of the 6th inning, possibly the 7th inning. You want arms to be fresh. You don't want in the first game Garrett Cole's out of the 5th inning and now you're going to your bullpen. That's a recipe for disaster, I feel.
To your point too, Hector, that's a good point too. The one thing I'll give Garrett Cole is whether he pitches really well or gets his ass kicked, he gives them length.
Yeah.
Regardless of the outcome.
He's going to 7 innings and give a 5, but he went through 7. He saved the bullpen.
Yep.
So that's something that I can't say for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And I still think it was a phantom Elston, but with Cortez,
Kind of reset him.
saving those innings for that week and a half this is why you did what you did.
Mm-hmm.
You save those innings, you save those bullets for your postseason.
Smart.
So and Cortez, you'll know in the first 3 pitches what you're going to get from him. If he's got a very fast delivery and him and Trevino are just locked in, then the other team, I don't think the other team has a chance.
Yeah, 100%. And like Keith just said into the chat, I was just about to bring it up. He just took the Reds out my mouth.
Yep.
Severino is back. To see Severino dominating his last start of the season, his last pitch that he threw after that 7th inning was a 100-mile-per-hour fastball that he struck the batter out. They said in that broadcast, they haven't seen Severino have this type of velocity since 2017, 2018, when he was lights out that first half of the season. So I'm going to just throw it around the last question going forward. When it comes to Luis Severino and his health, do you think this is finally the year or the postseason we're going to see the real Luis Severino? So I started with you and throw it over. What's your thoughts on Sevy and what are you expecting from him?
I'm expecting big time Sevy. I really am. I mean, I think we all are, right? Obviously, I don't even want to speculate on injury wise, right? Because each time it's been something so random, like can't even expect it with Sevy, right? And you're like, what the hell? That sucks. That's the main thing that has stopped him. There's never been a question on can Sevy pitch. When Sevy's in the zone, we all are Sevy believers. So if he's healthy, bro, yeah, I'm putting my money on a Sevy win all day long.
Copy. Tat, same question you had of your way, brother.
Sevy was primed to be our ace. And when you get a healthy Sevy, then it's I don't think there's anybody in this rotation you would trust as much as him. Sevy is our guy. He's our homegrown ace. Regardless of what contract Cole got, he's our homegrown ace. You know, we saw it in his past postseasons. He may have gotten rocked in that one wild card, but a lot of people forget how solid he was in the next series. He was lights out. Then just the injury bug has bit him year after year after year. If he's healthy, give me Sevy all day long.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jason. Same question headed your way.
When Boone pulled him out the other day, he was breathing fire through his nose. He wanted to kill him. He wanted to kill him. He's like, can you blame him? No, but I understand the logic. But he wanted to kill the same kind of fire-breathing guy that I want to see in the postseason. And this guy's always breathing fire in the postseason, right? And he's got a big arm. And I think that long stint on the IL maybe helped him. That 60-day stint, which you didn't want. He's going to be on the upswing during the playoffs. His arm is fresh, and bullets from Sevy all day. I'll take it any day of the week, man. Whether it's game 1 or 2 or 3, I don't give a shit what game it is. If Sevy pitches, I feel pretty good. I
a fresh Sevy is a fire Sevy.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%. And we're gonna be out in a little bit, but go ahead, Jacob. I just saw the private chat. You said you have
I'm gonna do what you do. I'm gonna do what you do at the end of the show when you're looking through the chat. I'm gonna do your job today. You sit back, Hector. You relax, all right? Let me help out here. Yo, what up, Mikey Mazda, 4 Train Express? We see you, bro. Caputo. I'm gonna talk to you, Caputo, because all season long I talked about you wouldn't admit that you had a Garrett Cole bobblehead in your room, but the chat, your Garrett Cole love is showing today, Caputo. It is. Appreciate you. James Cook was good. Fritzy, we ready to holler at you. Good job, Fritzy. What up? Keith Saunders. I even did your Saunders, bro. You saw that? My boy Keith Saunders.
Do I really sound like that? Jesus Christ. All right, I'm going to have to switch it up. But to Tat's point real quick before we dip out, when it comes to Luis Severino, right? Luis Severino, you said it. He's our homegrown ace. We've been hearing about Luis Severino back since 2011, 2012, when the Yankees signed him as a 16-year-old kid out of the Dominican Republic. We've been wanting to see Luis Severino. We've been hearing about Luis Severino. When he first came up, I think it was in 2016. He was our young homegrown talent. You know, when then all the young kids started coming together with Judge. Gary Sanchez is whatever Gary Sanchez was here. But even with those young kids that were coming, it made us excited. He got injured. He came back. And to see what he can be in the postseason, I'm super excited about that. But, fellas, we're about to dip out. Before we dip out, Jason, I'm going to throw it over to you. Let the people in the chat know where they can find you. What's your plans for this postseason when it comes to content? And throw it over to Tats from PineStripe Chronicles.
Well, you can obviously find me at 161 River Ave, and I'm a firm believer of helping any member of the 161 River Ave family. So anybody that comes onto the channel, I want to help them promote their channel and get their audience base and just help them just make their channel better. So I'm a firm believer of paying it forward and doing well by doing good. So, and that's the way I do it, and we keep it positive, we keep it fun, we keep it light, we talk a lot of shit, but that's the way we do it, right? And we have a football channel coming up. So for those who like to shut things off baseball and then shut things on in football, we've got Empire State Tripod. That's a new football channel that we got going now. We talk Jets, we talk Giants, and we talk Bills. And I'll say this to the Jets haters: we are only 20 guys away from being good. Don't sleep on us.
Tell him. That's right. Y'all saw the Zach Wilson gritty. Come on now.
That was possibly the worst gritty of all time.
Hey, you leave the Cougar Hunter alone. All right.
That was the worst. That was the worst. Somebody needs to take Zach Wilson's TikTok away from him. He needs to stop watching TikTok. But go ahead, Tats.
Get him out.
You can catch us on YouTube and Twitch. The PineStripe Chronicles. We're on social media, and we'll be doing shows every game for the Yankees postseason, and then throughout the off season, we're still going to be around 3-4 days a week, breaking down all trades, possibilities, free agents, everything in between, for pretty much all 30 teams in the game. So we're going to be very active, as we always are in the off season.
Nice. Appreciate that. Fellas, it was a great conversation. Jason, you already know when we get together, it's music to my ears. Tats, love having you on the program, and let's keep it going further, into the future. Tats, I would love to have you. Love to have you more on the channel. Whenever you want to send me the invite to come on PineStripe Chronicles, I'm there for you whenever you need
gotta
me.
have you on,
I just got to wake up a little bit earlier.
Yeah, we go live at 9:30 in the morning.
Cats, come on mine too. We'll have some fun, man.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
When we do that round table, we're gonna do it live.
Definitely.
Nice.
I'll definitely be there. And Jigga Man, of course, you my man's pots and pans. There's nothing to say about you. There's nothing to say about you. Besides being a Jet fan, you and Jason, because we Knicks fans at the end of the day.
That's Knicks.
Appreciate y'all, fellas. Appreciate y'all, fellas.
Peace,
All right.
Over now, boys.
Peace. Listen, that was a great conversation we had today. I appreciate everybody who timed in, who tuned in. My man Jason from 161 River Ave, my brother Tats from PineStripe Chronicles. Appreciate you. Michael Caputo, that round table I was talking about is next Friday for the fans after the first week of the postseason. Next week, Friday, I have an open panel. Michael Caputo, you better come on the panel because I haven't seen you in a minute. Maria, hope all is well. Maria. And guys, I got Project Nerd HQ, aka Hector, host of Yankees Morning Brew, and we out. Peace.